Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's video we have Rangers versus Aberdeen. We're going to break down some team news, the Gerrard press conference, and obviously giving our prediction on eons. But before we get anywhere near today's video, I just have to give a massive thank you to each and every single one of you guys who watches the channel, likes, comments every single day. We have now reached over 27,000 subscribers. And it's genuinely all down to you guys to make this channel what it is, so I can't thank you guys enough. It's a great privilege of me to be able to sit here and talk about some football, but again, 27,000 subscribers is mental. We are well and truly on our way towards 55k, and if you haven't joined already, you know what to do by now. Make sure to be subscribing and helping the nation. But honestly, thank you so much for helping the channel reach 27,000 subscribers. It genuinely means a lot to me, and let's just jump into today's video then, shall we? 3, 2, 1. Rangers versus Aberdeen, 3 PM kickoff, back at home, back at Ibrox. Now a win for the Glasgow Rangers will secure second place. And it's one of those situations where yes, it's a great achievement and it showed progress from last year and all the years since we've been back up in the top division. But at the same time I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, I never want to settle for second place. So yeah, it's great, but I'm not going to celebrate it. But back to the actual football, because it's not a foregone conclusion that we've actually bet Aberdeen, because when you actually look at it, they are our bogey team all year. They've knocked us out of both cups, and every game we've played them has been a tough and very competitive game. I mean, I used to like playing Aberdeen. See, a couple of years ago when we used to beat them all the time, it was great. These days, this season, not so much. Now, John Flanagan was a part of the Rangers press conference ahead of the Aberdeen game, and he said a little quote that I absolutely loved, because they were asking him how does the players feel about coming up against Aberdeen, what's the mindset, and John Flanagan responded very simply and very Flanagan-esque and just went, "We owe them one." And I honestly rate that a lot, that the fact that he was just so short and so sweet with it. He's one of these aggressive players that's really grabbed the jersey by the scruff of the neck and has just been playing out his skin in the last 3 or 4 games. So I think he deserves to start against Aberdeen. I mean, that's probably going to be an open for discussion right away. Who should be playing at left back, because everyone is fit. But for me, Flanagan keeps the shirt, and I think he's going to add a different dynamic against Aberdeen because his aggressiveness, the willingness to shut down, and I'm sure when he's sliding into a couple of these Aberdeen wingers, we'll see if they fancy it. However, let's move away from John Flanagan and turn to the gaffer, Mr. Steven Gerrard, because there is one quote that he has said that's absolutely exploded, and it's all over the media right now, especially in Scotland. It's getting clickbaited everywhere. I'm sure you guys have already heard it, but just in case you haven't, this is what Steven Gerrard had to say about the upcoming match versus Aberdeen. Aberdeen played different against Rangers. They raised their game. It seems as if Rangers are their biggest game of the season. And I don't know how you're feeling about that, but for me, he's being 100% truthful. I mean, I've said that on this channel numerous times, that Aberdeen are a different animal. If you watch the SPFL show, we've spoken about Aberdeen getting beat off Hamilton. They didn't turn up in all these games, but every single time they play against the Glasgow Rangers, they are 100% at it. So I didn't understand why the media's pointing all these holes at Gerrard and saying all this stuff about him, when Gerrard is just being honest. Now, since that press conference, it's obviously went back to Derek McInnes for his thoughts and opinions on it, and he basically said, don't flatter yourself. Aberdeen performed to their level against everyone. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But let's be fair, DK, he didn't take down all the proud pictures of Aberdeen in the past, winning cups, celebrations and everything like that. Take all the pictures down and replace them with pictures of a 1-0 win like he did in January. That happened, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Aberdeen replaced all the pictures of all their great moments with a single 1-0 victory over Rangers. Now, Rangers went into that game and ended up beating them in their own stadium, so it kind of backfired. But to sit there when all that's been out there and it's already been said and claim that it's no different against anyone else, he's just talking utter shit. So that's what the media's took away from this press conference. That's their biggest thing that they've took away, and they're running with it. But for me personally, something that I found extremely interesting what Gerrard said just a couple of minutes after that. He went on to talk about and confirm that he knows what players are with him and who's going to be going into next season as a Rangers player and who isn't. However, it takes another turn, because not only did he speak about he knows what players is with him and who isn't, he actually kind of backed that up regarding the behind the doors friendly versus Liverpool. Now, the final score did end 4-4, and you're probably thinking, great game, good friendly, everyone gets minutes. Nah. Gerrard has come out here and said that it was absolutely embarrassing, that first half performance, slammed some individuals. Again, he didn't name directly. Now, he said not everyone played bad, so the starting 11 that we already know didn't all play bad, but he said certain individuals lacked work rate, desire and effort to play for the Glasgow Rangers. They've got sand on their sandals and they're showing that they've down tools. Now, it's worth noting that Kyle Lafferty was hauled off at half-time. And no, I'm not saying that Kyle Lafferty is definitely one of these boys that was pulled away. He may be subbed off because of something we'll speak in a couple of minutes. However, he was subbed off at half-time. He was the only one kind of dragged off in the 45th minute. Joe Worrell also got took off. So did Barisic as well in the overall game. Now, again, he didn't come out here and name all of them. I'm just looking at what his words were actually saying and who was the boys that was taking off. Is these the individuals that he's actually talking about? I don't know how you feel about it, but the fact that he's coming out here and he's so blatant and he's so honest about it, that he knows who's with him and who isn't, I think that he's just waiting for the transfer window now to get rid of the boys who's never lived up to it, that he knows now what he needs and what he doesn't need, and he's just choking at the bit just to get rid of certain boys. However, let's pull it back and let's talk about the Aberdeen game and reflect on the suspension / injury list, because there's still one other suspension from the Glasgow Rangers. That is none other than Alfredo Morelos serving his last match suspension. Probably for a good thing, because he'd probably get sent off again. Too soon? Okay. But on the flip side of that, we've obviously got Ryan Kent, who is now available. He has served his suspension and he's back in the mix. Now, moving over to the injury list, we actually have 2 fresh injury doubts for the game with 2 very important players. Starting off with the first one, Captain Tavernier is a doubt for the game with a jarred knee that he received in training, so that's a massive blow. He's kind of our Iron Man. He's always ready and available, but this does open the door. If Tavernier isn't available to perform, does that mean Matty P is going to be playing there, or is John Flanagan going to be given the choice in his natural position? It does certainly open up a lot of doors, but I think when we play our best 11, Tavernier has to be in there. His creativity certainly is needed for the Glasgow Rangers, so fingers crossed that Tavernier is able to make it. And for me personally, I think that he will actually play. However, there's one other thing that we need to talk about now, something that Gerrard talked about, and not only that, but Tavernier shared on Instagram. This message that he received, and he says it's one of many, is absolutely pathetic. Racism genuinely has no place in football, and it just needs to be stamped out. I'm really hoping the media gets behind the players and starts backing them, and just kind of like what they're doing now in England with Sterling and Danny Rose. I know they're taking stands, and the English media is getting behind them. I really hope the Scottish media stops this individual witch hunt and the hatred for certain teams and just backs the players, not only for Rangers but in the entire league, and stamp this out now. However, we move on to the second injury doubt for the game, and it's just came at the worst moment in time for Mr. Jermaine Defoe. That's right, he is a doubt for the Aberdeen game with a muscle problem that again they received in training. They're nursing it, they're trying to get him through it, and I personally think, just like James Tavernier, that they both will actually play in the game. However, if Defoe doesn't play, that opens the door next week for Morelos to come back and take the shirt back off him. So it's one of these situations for me right now. Defoe has earned the right to be Rangers' #1 up front. He has took that jersey from Morelos. If he misses this because of an injury, that gives not only someone else a chance, but also opens the door for the Morelos return. So it's going to be very interesting to see what we do with the striking situation. And actually, reverting back to something we said earlier on, is that why Lafferty was hauled off at half-time versus Liverpool? Wasn't because he down-tooled and didn't show work and desire, it's because he's needed for Aberdeen? It's certainly a question. I want to know your thoughts on it as well. Now, the last 2 injuries we've got some good news and we've got some bad news. So let's start off with some good news first, because I'm a half-full kind of guy. We'll look at Mr. Graham Dorrans, obviously being a part of the Liverpool friendly, which is just great to see him back playing football. Gerrard has talked about the man's taking part in training, that he's got over mentally the side and effects that injuries can have. He's finally gotten over that. He's feeling freer and happier. He's much more buzzing around the stadium, even more so this week than he was just a couple weeks ago. He feels like he's ready to play. However, Gerrard will not be rushing him into this game. He may be back in the next couple of games. So yeah, just great to see Graham Dorrans battling back, staying mentally tough and coming back and playing for the Rangers. Now over to the bad news that we previously mentioned. It's the fact that Jamie Murphy has been ruled out for the rest of the season, not because of an injury that he's re-got or anything like that. No, he's still being part in training, he's still doing well, he's still progressing well, but it's the way that it's working out. The fact that the last game of the season, which Gerrard had hopes for, is going to be on a plastic pitch. Gerrard has ruled him out. He's not going to risk him once again on a plastic pitch. So unfortunately for Jamie Murphy and all of us, Jamie Murphy's season is officially over. So with all that being said, all that's left to do now is to give our thoughts and predictions down in the comments section below. While you let me know what you think of the actual game, how it's going to break down the goal scorers, I will give you mine. I'm expecting a very tough game, let's be fair. Aberdeen are a very good side. Sam Cosgrove's maybe went off the goal scoring charts a little bit, but he's still going to be a danger, so it's going to be interesting to see who we put at centre back. They are a good side. I'm going to show respect to them, but I genuinely believe that Rangers will fight through. They're on a rich training form. They've got a new formation now with an extra man in midfield. Sort of stops them from the counter attacks, like when they bet us 2-0, they caught us on the counter, pushing too many men forward. We've got that extra man in there now, and I think that's going to play a massive difference as well. So for me, the scoreline I am going to go with is a channel favourite: Rangers 2, Aberdeen 1. Goal scorers, I would believe Graham Shinney will score from Aberdeen. Yes, I believe that will actually happen. Jermaine Defoe to score. And my last goal scorer, I'm going to go with a Nicolo Katic header. And now that we've actually had our say, it's time to jump over to Twitter and hear from the people. There's been 945 votes. Thank you so much for getting involved. 5% votes for draw, 6% votes for Aberdeen, but 88% of the people votes for a Rangers win. Let's see what they've had to say. Billy K writes in 2-0 Rangers, Defoe and Arfield to score the goals. Mark Kelly writes in 3-1 to Rangers, Ryan Jack to score as well. Peter Ramsey 3-0 to Rangers. Casey writes in 3-1 to Rangers, double from Arfield and a Nicolo Katic header. I like that, Casey. Lewis Aird writes in 4-0 again. Gonna go with Rangers, a Kent hat-trick and a Polster header. I like that, mate. I like that all day. Ewan writes in 3-1 Rangers, Kent, Jack and Arfield. And the last one we'll actually read out just to make it fair. We'll go up there, we'll go down there and we'll stop it right there. It comes from Scott and he writes in 3-0 to Rangers, 2 for Jermaine Defoe and 1 for Mr. Ryan Kent. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You've heard from the people, you've heard from myself. If you haven't done so already, you know what to do by now. And as always, the link to the charity match June the 8th will be down in the description if you'd like to buy some tickets and help raise money for Sam H, which is a mental health and suicide prevention charity. I'm going to be involved. There's a lot of other YouTubers versus Falkirk Foundation coaches. And lastly, if you'd like to support the channel directly through the Patreon account, like those legends on there, the link will be once again down below. I've been Sage92. Thanks so much for watching and bye.